This is Dr. Shmaefsky, and these are your instructions for the final exam. Please read the instructions on the exam site, and the final exam is located in the final exam module, and you'll see a Dropbox to deposit the completed final exam as a Word document. Use the same document that I gave you as a test document to use for your answers. So do please read the instructions for your exam. You'll see that there's 5 questions. You only select 3 of the 5. Don't do 5 because then I will just count the first 3. I'm not gonna, I don't want to have to select 3 out of the 5 randomly. So just answer 3 questions out of the 5, and you'll see what I mean by the major questions. Each of them will have several parts, or what I call subsections, and I'm going to give you a word count for each subsection. When you start looking at timing yourself for the exam, it's not going to be timed, but it shouldn't take you really more than 30 minutes for each question if you have, once you've researched it and then start to write it up. So you will have to research these questions online or using your textbook. And a lot of these questions are just to give you a problem using the knowledge you've learned in this class and answering that problem. And again, you might have to rely on the web to look up some of these facts, and also in your book. And please don't submit the exam as a PDF format. I prefer it as a Word format because sometimes what happens when you convert the Word doc I gave you to a PDF, it messes up the formatting and it's very difficult to read the questions. So you'll see the 5 questions will be labeled questions 1 through 5. This is what a question will look like. So you'll see here there'll be usually a reading or a graph or a map or something. So please do read the background, like particularly for this one. This is a clipping from a news article. And again, you could look up some more background on these information that I provide in each question. And then for this one, read the instructions carefully. So this one says choose one of the 3 pollutants that were mentioned in this article, and then use that pollutant, okay, as the background to answer these 3 questions. So there's going to be 3 parts to this particular one. If you see the question like this. So, and notice that I gave you a word count. So I expect this to be about a 5-sentence paragraph. The average sentence is about 2 words. And it doesn't mean just do 5 sentences, count those words. And the reason why I give you that is I want detail and examples. This is assessed for doing well on this exam is not to just write 50 words, is to provide your answer. So, for example, describe one specific source of, let's say, mercury. You give a specific source of mercury or a couple of sources, and then explain why mercury comes from those sources and how they get into the environment. And that goes for the next question too. Give examples, give descriptions of everything you're doing. So the test it's not impossible. I've given a similar test to this year after year, and this is very much like if you've ever taken an AP exam, or you'll be taking eventually if you go to grad school, you'll be taking exams like this in which you'll be answering questions in an essay format and reading, a case study or some type of data, because that is part of the learning outcomes for this class, is to look at data and to interpret information, for example, in a reading. So if you have any questions, please email me. And if you're going to email me by my Lone Star, please provide me with your section number. For example, 2401 or 2403 or 2405. If you use D2L, that already shows up, because I just need to keep track of who and what section is giving me a question. So again, if you have any questions about the final, let me know. That doesn't mean you ask me questions about how to answer the questions, but you could say, well, what does this mean? Or just, again, a little, questions on, the word count or whatever. So good luck with the final, and please give yourself time to complete it. And if you're going to retake it, just don't submit. If you submitted and want to resubmit, that's fine, but make sure you discard your original submission before you resubmit, or put that on the top of the test that this is submission 2. Thank you. And again, if you have any questions, let me know.